Ooh, it's been a minute since we've been out here to Bee Yard 51. We still have our 4 hives that we have been following for the last 3 months, I think is when we started them. We started them in June, so it's been a little bit. But I figured we'd go into them, kind of see what's going on. This is probably going to be close to almost my last check on them. You don't really want to check your hives a whole lot this time of year because they're going to be moving everything around exactly where it needs to be, and you don't want to stress out your hives too much or it could hurt them. So let's see what we find out. So we have Ginny, Gypsy, which was the hive that just randomly moved in, Star Killer. She killed all of our queen cells. It was a swarm that also moved in. And we have Hooterville right over here, which it looks like Casey's been doing some stuff to it because I never put that third box on. So he must have came out here and decided to put a third box on because they're doing so good. He has been completely controlling this yard. We do have all of our overwintered nukes looking mighty fine and mighty strong. He did have to put on a third box for those as well because they were outside bearding. Actually halfway up the hive. It was kind of crazy. So they're looking pretty good. He has been putting a couple feedings on everything lately. We still have that tote of syrup that we're working through. I've mostly been using it for the hunting yard because gosh, that yard was seriously starving. We'll see how next year goes, but if it continues that way, we probably won't be using that yard anymore. We'll see. But the rest of the feed's probably going to be going out here to make sure they're nice and plump and strong. Pumpkin yard's looking good. Pine yard's looking good. Pretty much all of our yards except for the 2 were looking really good. So these I am going to overwinter as singles, these 2 on the end. So it's actually perfect because while I'm out here seeing what we see, like I said, I'm not going to go into them too heavily just because I don't want to stress them out too much. Also don't want to risk pinching a queen this time of year. That would completely kill the hive. But I do have some of this Hive Alive feed that Hive Alive so kindly sent me to try out. It's brand new. They just developed this and released it, gosh, I think only a couple weeks ago. And what it is it's this bag of their super sugar syrup with their Hive Alive liquid in it as well. And you just set this on the hive and you poke a hole in it and they're able to feed off of this. So I thought this would be perfect for these singles because I don't have a frame feeder in either one of them. And I didn't really want to have to put on a box just to put a bucket on or anything like that. So I'm going to set these on there for them to feed on and see if that makes a difference with helping them put on weight or not. Wow, I see that Gypsy over here is killing it. She has a million bees coming and going. We have been at peak Goldenrod for, I'd say the last couple weeks. Casey said here looks like it just peaked a few days ago, but then it's crazy how each area can be so different, even a place 20 miles away. So the hunting yard is around 20 to 30 miles away from here, and I would say they're on the downturn of their goldenrod flow because I'm starting to see some of the goldenrod burn up and turn brown. So we're going to be nearing the end of that here soon, but I think they were able to capitalize a little bit on it while I was feeding them because they're getting pretty heavy now. I did put a lot of feed on them though. Oh my gosh. I don't even know if it was worth it, honestly, financially. But I mean, if they make it through the winter, then okay, I guess it'll be worth it, I suppose. My suit is so sticky from all the feeding I've been doing lately. That's all I've been doing in beehives is just feeding. Not really doing anything else. None of them have been really wanting to swarm. I think they know that winter's coming really soon. And I think they know the flow is about to be over. They had a hard year this year. They had a lot of starving colonies, so I don't blame them one bit whatsoever. Makes my life a little easier too. I don't have to manage them as much right now. Ooh. They sure do like to propolize. All right, let's see how they're looking. Ooh, seeing a decent amount of honey right up top. So that's great to see. Oh gosh, this is gonna be hard taking some of these frames out. See what I mean? This is why I don't want to stress them too much this time of year. When I start tearing into frames. Ooh, and those plastic frames are chipping real easily this time of year. Alright, I guess we'll start on this outside frame, and I'll just move frames over so we can just take a peek at what their brood is looking like. So this is the time of year they're going to be condensing their brood nest down and encasing themselves in honey. This is exactly what you want. Oh, one thing I should do. Oh, wow. They have really put on some weight. I like tipping it just to get an idea of how much food they might need. And honestly, they might not need any food. They might have did this all on their own just fine. Which would be awesome, because I have not fed these at all. Alright. See, I tore up some honey on the other side. Alright, we have... Yep, they are currently condensing it down. See how I have that brood pattern right there in the middle, and then we have some honey on the outside. There's no eggs in here whatsoever, so they're filling up all the cells with nectar as they're bringing it in so that she can't lay there. Alright, we're gonna do that so I can make sure I'm actually in the camera there so I can actually see. Oh, should have worn my hat. I'm gonna start eating my hair. I may put on emergency feed with these this year. We'll see. Just kind of depends on how much they pack on. Oh yeah, they're caking it in. No eggs, just straight brood, surrounded by nectar that they're bringing in. There's definitely more bees in here than there normally are, but that's not a bad thing. That's definitely a good thing. Got some eggs over here. Mostly honey. Oh, there's only a few on this side. I bet you they're gonna end up eating those and just making it all honey. Yeah, they're encasing it right now. So these bees are gonna do great from what I see. As long as mites don't get them, they won't have a problem with moisture because I'm using the telescoping covers. I've always liked those lids. I don't have to stress as much about that propolis seal because it keeps any water from running in. Yeah, I'm tearing up so much honeycomb just to look at their brood. Alright, so this is going to be the last frame before I put the hive light on. Oh my gosh, I don't even have to feed these. They have so much food coming in, it's ridiculous. I don't even know where they're getting it. I mean, it's most likely goldenrod. Wow. She's definitely slowed down laying. I don't see a whole lot of eggs. She's letting them just pack in honey rather than land a bunch of brood, which they've already been working on their winter bees for quite a while now, so that's a good trait to have. Alright. Well, I will put one thing of Hive Alive on there, I suppose. It wouldn't hurt to do that. Just so I could try it out and see what I think. So on the instructions, it says to lay the flat part so that it's down on the hive, and then I'm supposed to poke a hole up here. So I did not bring a knife, which kind of stinks, so I'm just going to lay this right on the middle. And then poke a hole maybe like right up here. Oh, that worked. There's some holes coming out of that. Ooh. Yeah, a little bit's already coming out. Alright, so I'm going to poke a couple holes for them. Alright. And then just going to put this down on it. The theory is they need to be able to go on top of it. This way they will be able to do that. And then just set the lid on. Easy peasy. I'm only going to do one for these. I'm going to save the other ones for ones that are really starving. I think Star Killer has been looking kind of light. We're going to see once we go into her. But last time I looked at her, We'll look into her right now, but last time I looked into her, I was kind of thinking she wasn't going to be a good candidate for overwintering just because she was having a very small brood nest and she didn't take up all of her frames yet, so we'll see. We'll see what we see. All right. So, as I predicted, so they're still not on those other 2 frames. They had to draw those anyways, so that's fine. So they're only on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 frames. Yeah, it has a nice amount of bees in between each frame though, so that's promising, but I mean, we'll see. This is a pretty small hive, that's for sure. These are purely just experimental hives anyways. Also, I haven't really been impressed with this queen in particular, just because she hasn't built up very nicely like I would hope, but she's the one that came in and killed all of our all of our queen cells in our graft into one of our hives. She moved in as a swarm. Gosh, we have such, that happens every year, I swear. We put down queen excluders so they can't get in, and they still get in. They're small enough to get in, so I guess it is what it is. All right, let's see. Ooh. They got quite a bit of honey too. Look at that. I don't see very many drones. I've been watching the drone calling lately. One of the hives on our porch had a pile of at least 20 drones on the ground a week or 2 ago. So fall is coming fast. Not too bad of a brood pattern. They're definitely still trying to build up. But they have enough honey for the size cluster that they're going to be going in with. So it'll be interesting to see if a cluster, if 6 frames of bees can actually make it through or not. I'm curious. You don't know something can't be done until you try it for yourself. Yeah, so they're still trying to build up their winter bees. They have a decent amount of brood in there. Whereas, ouch, the other one had so much honey coming in that she was slowing down, which is fine. All right, so I am going to put 2 of those bags on here too for them. And that's the thing. They will go through these so fast. I typically feed around 1.5 gallons to 2 gallons when I fill my frame feeders. These look like they're maybe like a quart. I'm gonna have to look on the box to see if it tells me what their exact size is. Be interested in knowing. But I love that Hive Alive is so innovative. Like, this is just the first iteration of this. The more we all try it out and tell them what they think, the better they're gonna get. They will keep adjusting and improving the product as much as they can so that it makes our life a little bit easier. So I'm down to see what happens. All right. Oh, wrong side. You can kind of tell too. So the side that's flat has a thicker material. It's going to be harder for you to poke through. And if you forget a knife like I did, your hive tool actually does work great. I'm just tearing 4 little holes in there for them. I want them to know that it's here is the thing. Alright, and then I have an inner cover I'm going to put down. I was looking for my shims, but when casing... Oh, that's going to be too tight. Shoot. Yeah, I have not been able to find any of my shims. When Casey and I moved all of our stuff, we kind of packed things in a way that it's like buried. So we'll just use that. That'll work. Those are some quilt boxes Casey made a while back. They're going to have quite a bit of airflow, which won't be, well, Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. It's going to be a lot of airflow for them. Maybe I should try putting that on top of an inner cover, but then they got to travel quite a far ways just to get to it. I'll come back and take that off once they're finished. We'll see how quickly they go through those. All right, so the next one, Gypsy. This one is a mean butt. We'll see if she's still grouchy. See, she moved into this home. She wanted me to start taking care of her, but she's a grouchy one. I don't think she's used to being managed, but I think she had to have been one of our swarms that we lost a while back. I don't know. Actually, let me move you over to this side. It's going to be easier to fit in here. Oh my. See how heavy they are. Oh, I can't even lift that up. Uh-oh. That hive alive is dripping out the front of this other entrance. Is it dripping? Oh, it is dripping quite a bit. Maybe I shouldn't have poked so many holes in it. Just wanted to make sure they could get to it. It might have been also because I pressed down on it with the inner cover. I think that'll be good. That'll be fine. Now I could have fed this one. I did put a frame feeder in there, but I want to try out these Hive Alive bags and see what happens. Alright, so Gypsy is very heavy, which tells me I'm not even going to have to feed her. In fact, I don't know if I really want to dig into her if she's that heavy. She's probably going to be feisty. We'll see. Alright. Oh my. Look at this. Alright, you guys saw these hives. These were swarms that we moved out of nukes into these boxes in June. And they already have so much honey in here. They're drawing some really thick comb. Look at that. That looks great. I don't even think I really want to start tearing into that. I'm pretty confident that they're going to be looking pretty good, just judging by that. I could go into this in the bottom box, so let's do that. Let's at least go in the bottom box. Although they're probably going to get very mean here shortly. But we'll see. And this just shows, like, the hunting yard, I gotta feed them so much. This yard, haven't fed them whatsoever, and look at how much honey they have. Location, location, location. Oh gosh, actually matters. Oh my word. That sure was heavy. Yeah, so look at that. They even have honeycomb all the way up here. These girls are looking strong. Very strong. So I'll take out just one frame. I don't want to stress them out too much. I just want to get an idea of what their brood pattern's looking like. This hive was looking wonderful though. This is definitely one that I want to keep. If I can just breed the aggressiveness out of her. But she's not doing too bad right now. Okay. Backfilling it all with nectar. It's good to see. Oh, look at that side. Oh my goodness. That is wonderful. Yeah, she's looking good. If she makes it through the winter, we'll see how she looks in the spring. She might be, after she makes it through a couple more winters with us, she might end up being a breeder queen. I don't know, we might even breed some queens off her next year. We'll see. We're grading them, watching how they do. Uh-oh. Okay. Oh, gosh. And she's productive. She don't need any food. She's fine just the way she is. Wow. That tastes pretty good. Alright, we have one more to check. Now, see how easy it is to check hives this time of year? I was only in that hive for like 2 minutes. You don't need to be digging through hives. You're just going to stress them out. Just get an idea. Look at how many bees you see up top. Look at how much food they have. Remember, they're going to be condensing their brood nest. They're not going to have as many bees or as much brood. So as long as you have your mites taken care of, you have a good moisture control plan, and they have enough food, then you are going to be a-okay. Actually, let me put you guys over here so it's a little bit easier for you guys to see. If I can find something to set you on. There you go. That's better. All right, so like I said, it looks like Casey put this third box on, which means they must be doing really good if that's the case. Well, they're up in this top box. He's got a frame feeder up here. Got a decent amount of weight. Oh yeah, I got a decent amount of weight. Ooh. Got all 5 frames. Pull out the middle one, see what we see, which it looks like it's one that they were working on here. I'm gonna go for the outside. Oh, calm down. These are supposed to be gentle. These are Latshaw queens from Ryan Nims over at Hooterville Honey. One of the queens he gave me to try out for the year. Gave us a couple other queens too that Casey's been experimenting with. He's thinking about trying to overwinter some queens in, oh, what are they called? They are the Apame Defender hives, where it has those 4 quadrants. I'm gonna have to check with him to see how they're going. I know he's kind of been fighting with them a little bit. Well, they got quite a bit of honey. About this frame. Nice big brood pattern on both sides. That's great. Got some honey up here. Alright, these I am going to put some feed on because they're looking a little light. Let's see. Oh, actually, they're kind of heavy. Let's see with all of them. I'll still put some feed on though. Better safe than sorry. Oh, it's going to be hard to put on all the way up here though. With that bucket. Alright, I guess we'll try this. Gosh, if these hives... Uh-oh. What happened? It's all of a sudden not working. No, don't tell me I burnt it out. Oh, here we go. This wasn't on all the way. Whew! I need to go find another one of these. We got it from Walmart. Casey found it. And they are a godsend. Uh-oh. Does it have to be higher? You're gonna pull it out? Oh, I should have cleaned it, I betcha. Struggling. Only a little bit's coming out at a time. Maybe I got some dirt in it. I mean, it's coming out, but slowly. So yeah, we're gonna have to go find some more of this, more of these, because it's cheap and it works. It's not the best setup, but hey, we're still small. We're still building. We're still at around 200 hives, so we don't have a giant operation that requires us to have thousands of dollars of equipment. I mean, we do, but we're getting there. Okay, this is gonna take way too long. Heck no. Gonna have to see if I can clean that. Maybe that's the problem. I hope. Have fun, girls. There's some food for you. All right. So like I said, you don't have to do a whole lot to make sure your hives are ready for winter. Honestly, the more you do, the more you're going to stress them out. So now's the time to kind of just take a break, relax as a beekeeper, focus on your main 3 things: moisture control, varroa mites, feed. As long as all those are taken care of, then you're going to be looking super fine for winter time, and hopefully we have a good year this year. I actually wouldn't mind it being cold and wet right up front, because that means that they're going to be able to start clustering up really soon. Last year, they didn't get into cluster until, gosh, I think it was January when it finally started getting cold. So they were still blowing through stores, moving about and whatnot. And then didn't have like the coldest winter. It was more like a wet winter in terms of like humidity. It was like 40s, and not really the kind of winter we're used to here in Michigan. We're used to just snow and 20 degrees, 10 degree weather. But all right, I hope that video was helpful. Gosh, lifting that bucket, whew, made me feel very out of breath. But I'll see you guys in the next one. Don't quit and be fit.